A couple of weeks ago, I had a successful meeting with this partner of mine. He's a, successful businessman in the community. And he told me something that completely shifted how I think about personal branding. He said that he used to think personal branding was about being everywhere and saying everything. And I thought about that because in a way, I thought the same thing. But then I realized people in today's today's era, people with the strongest brands do the exact opposite. They become known for just one single thing, one thing only. But these people do that one thing so well. And it makes people think about that one thing when they think about them. So this got me to thinking. Like my wheels started spinning as I was sitting off in the restaurant. And like I said, my wheels got to spinning. And I was thinking, what if everyone would have been taught? Like what if people had been taught this? Should I say, what if everyone that was taught figured out that everything we were taught, we was taught backwards? See, when I started thinking about that, I got to thinking, what if we was taught that doing more was better, but in reality, doing less was best, but doing less with that precision, that surgical precision, that precision that cuts deep and makes you really think about what you get yourself into. So today we're just gonna sit back and I put this out there for you because I want you to think about it. I want you to sit back and I want you to ponder this whole situation. And we're going to talk about some counterintuitive strategies that separate the top 0.1% of personal branders, like the people with personal brands that separates from everyone else. Now, here's the kicker. And I know I say this all the time, but here's the kicker. It has nothing to do with your follower count, your posted frequency, or even your charm. It's a lot deeper and something much more fundamentally. See, the fundamentals is where it's at. Your fundamentals will set you apart from everybody. So by the end of this episode, what we're going to be discussing today, you have a clear roadmap to implement specific things today. So if you are ready to do this, let's get to it, man, because this is one of those episodes that's juicy, and it's also one of those episodes that is well needed. So grab your pen, grab you something to drink, and let's get cracking.
Welcome to the Solopreneurs Chronicles podcast, the show where solopreneurs like you learn how to ignite, ascend, and empower a one-person business that works for you, not the other way around. Each week, your host Anthony Porter will bring you actionable strategies, real-life stories, and expert insights to help you attract clients, create consistent content, and turn your passion into profit. Whether you're just starting out or looking to level up, this is your go-to resource for making big things happen on your own terms. If you're ready to ditch the overwhelm and build a business that fits your life, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Let's dive in.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Solopreneur Chronicles podcast. I'm your host. I'm Tony Porter, man. You know who it is. And if you are new here, if you are truly new here, all right, this show is all about helping you build authentic influence and creating meaningful impact in your space. Now, whether you're an entrepreneur, a creator, a professional looking to stand out in a crowded marketplace, guess what? We dive deep into strategies that actually move the needle and not just the surface level tactics everyone else is talking about. So today's episode is something special because we're tackling one of the most understood aspects of building an online presence. That's personal branding. And I promise you this. I promise you this right here. All right. By the time we are completely done, you will see why 99.9% of people are approaching this completely wrong. You ready? All right. Now, before we get started, I want to say welcome back again. Do us a favor. If you are here and you've been here before, please do us that favor. Follow the podcast on Apple, Spotify, any one of your streaming platforms. Leave us a review. That's what we want. We want you to leave us a review on these platforms. All right. So by leaving us a review, it helps this podcast. We're not asking for a donation. We're asking you to leave us a review so this podcast can start to grow. And as it starts to grow, other like-minded individuals such as yourself will find this information and make this information more accessible for them and anyone else in the solo, you know, one of the main things we need to talk about is the fatal flaw in most businesses, no branding. And here's the advice to that. We need to think about something that perfectly illustrates what's broken or about how most people, such as myself, because I was in this position, think about their personal branding. A couple months ago, I took a LinkedIn personal challenge, right? And as I'm scrolling through LinkedIn, I come across two profiles. The first profile, the first person, excuse me, had it listed as an entrepreneur, speaker, coach, consultant, and podcast / investor. In their bio, impressive, right? The second person simply said, I help SaaS companies reduce churn by 40%. And guess what? The one I remember a week later, guess what happened? The SaaS profile stood out more. Why? Because it was direct. It was straight to the point. It basically told you what it is they did. A lot of people want you a lot of people want you to sit back and want you to have all of this information. Well, that's what they think. That's the old way. That's the way we was taught. You have all of this information. Have your business bio. You tell them you're a speaker, entrepreneur, coach, consultant, author, podcast, and investor. That's a lot. That is a whole lot. And most people do not understand how cruddy that is. Right? The second person understands what I call, specific pinnacle. And that's the foundation of every great personal brand. The specific pinnacle is what I call your, what's the word I'm looking for? Your creative mode. And this is what a lot of people miss. See, in a world where everyone is trying to be everything to everyone, extreme specificities becomes your competitive advantage. So being specific, all right, and I may have said the word wrong, but being specific, narrow it down, helps you become more competitive than anything. You don't have to have a ton in your bio to make it seem like you are just this super individual in your personal brand. A lot of people don't understand that. That's the old way. So the top 1% of personal brands don't just have their niche, they own they own a very specific problem for a very specific person. They become the obvious choice, not just a good choice, not just a great choice, but they become the obvious choice. That choice that everybody needs or everybody in their niche is looking for. They become the authority figure. So here's a perfect example of what I mean by becoming an authority figure. Because see, what the person I'm going to make this example about is how I got to where I'm at when it comes to podcasting. See, Pat Flynn's online business education for beginners who want to do it right. All right. Now I follow Pat Flynn. Pat Flynn's online business is where he uses his podcast to drive traffic because he's giving you value within inside of what? The podcast. His educational business model is a no fluff, actually what I call a no fly zone situation. And Gary Vaynerchuk is the same way. And Gary Vaynerchuk, if you don't know who he is, he's a wine expert that has taken social media by storm. He has a no BS approach when it comes to social media. Like he really has a no BS approach. So, and then of course there's Tim Ferriss. Now, Tim Ferriss, his life optimization and productivity sits at a higher standard than most people could ever think about. Now, all three of these are very specific. They're not trying to be motivational speakers to everyone. They are solving a specific problem for a specific person. Again, Gary Vaynerchuk is in the wine business. Pat Flynn is in the online education space. Tim Ferriss is a life optimization and productivity for high performers. So basically, he's trying to help you optimize your lifestyle for these high performers, like these top 1%ers. So they just specifically broke it down. They didn't sit around and I'm not gonna say I'm a motivational speaker. So being a business growth strategist, I'm narrowed down to focus on one specific group with one specific problem. They want to grow their business, their online presence. All right. So there are 5 pillars that we need to discuss when it comes to the top 100%, the top 1% personal brand business. All right. So let's talk about number one. Number one, you take one problem, you focus on it. Instead of being a generalist, elite personal brands become obsessed with solving one core problem extremely well. That's it. We're not trying to we're not trying to solve world hunger where we can't figure out how to stop the war in the streets. So we can't be an advocate for the war in the streets and be an advocate for world hunger and be an advocate for demographic control. We can't do all of that. We got to focus on one problem and one problem only. So, with that being said, click the sentence. This is a piece of your homework. Click the sentence. I help the specific type person achieve a specific outcome by a specific method or approach. For example, I help B2B SaaS founders achieve product market fit by implementing a systematic customer delivery process. All right. So you need to come up with your own, and this will help you get through with your personal branding. Pillar number two is the depth over breadth strategy. All right. While most people are chasing the latest platform or trend, top tier professional brands go deeper on fewer channels, right? So most people, what they don't understand is they get on Instagram or TikTok and they follow the trends, but they don't go deep into what it is that made this video pop up on your reels. What made this video go viral, right? Position, and this is the top 1%. They rather be positioned on at least two platforms instead of being on 10. So you have to choose two, right? So choose either Instagram and TikTok, TikTok and YouTube, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You get the picture. All right. So you have to be able to do that. Now, here's what this looks like in practice. Most people don't understand this, so this is what we do. So I hope you're writing this down. Choose 1 to 2 primary platforms where your ideal audience hangs out. Become known for the specific type of content format, whether it's threads, long form videos, newsletters, etc., blog posts, all of that. You got to be a part of all of that. Okay. And develop a constant voice, and your people's perspective can recognize who you are simultaneously and instantly. All right. So you really have to pay attention to what it is that you do and be consistent. You got to give great value. Those are two of the most important things: being consistent and giving value. All right, pillar number 3. You got to have the teaching first mentality. Now, this is counterintuitive, right? The personal brands aren't selling first; they're teaching first. These are why these folk are uh so far ahead of the game. They give away their best insights for free. And that's one thing a lot of folk don't want to do. They don't want to give away nothing for free, man. Understanding that teaching builds trust faster than a sales pitch. So if you're trying to become the authority figure, give away a few things. Become that individual. All right. Become that individual. And of course, like I said, when I started following Pat Flynn, this is one of what he mastered earlier. He literally gave away his entire business model and taught people exactly how to replicate it for success. Did this hurt his business? No, it did not. Actually, it built an audience of people who trusted him so much they wanted to learn more and more, even and every time he came out with something new. All right. So you got to be able to understand that, like, you put yourself in position for people to be able to trust who you are. And once they trust you, sky's the limit. Pillar number 4, the consistent point of view. Now, elite personal brands do not just share information. They have a consistent philosophy that threads through everything that they do. And this is what we call the brand worldview. Your brand worldview becomes the lens. You know how you probably heard us saying that we see things through rose-colored glasses. This is that lens. This is the lens that you need to really be paying attention to, all right? And this is where you can analyze and discuss topics. Listen, AI is the future. So if you're afraid of AI, you're going to get left behind. But if you're not, you can see the vision through the glasses. Like my glasses, both pair, all 3 pair, I see the vision. And so by seeing that vision, even when it takes a detour, it still comes back to the same thing that I'm visually seeing. And then last but not least, pillar number 5, the long-term relationship strategy. Most people go wrong with this one because they optimize from followers and likes instead of building genuine relationships with their audience. So they are so busy worried about getting the followers and the likes, they're not giving the what the 1%ers give. You got to think about this. There's an influencer, and it's been a case study done. There's an influencer on Instagram, got over 100 million followers, but can't sell a t-shirt. But there's a person that has 1,000 followers that's made sense. Being an influencer doesn't resonate to money. All right. So keep that in your back pocket. So what does that mean? Like, you get followers, respond to comments and messages personally. I like to when I respond to a message, I like to send a voice message. It's easier. All right. And it's more, it helps the brand out because it's more personal to the person you're. So let's say you DM me and your name is Chuck. Hey, Chuck, thanks for reaching out to me. It's an honor for me to send you this PDF. This PDF is the one page startup guide to getting your first 7 clients in 7 days. Simple. Just click the link below, give us your best email, and we'll get it right over to you. But then you have some that, remember details about your community members, because listen, building a community is where it's at. See, when you build a community, you put the community together. The community itself is for those who have a like mind. So by you putting this community together, everything works out perfectly because these folk are in here and they helping each other out. You might jump in there every blue moon, have some one-on-one time or some group time with everybody. But the community is for the community. A lot of people don't understand that. All right. And then you got to create content that speaks genuinely to the person you're trying to serve, not just for consumption, but help them on their transformation. And then build a system that nurtures to nurture relationships over time. My CRM is to go high level. My emails to go high level. Everything's to go high level. All right. But I'm building that system over time. So what does this mean for us moving forward? Well, what it means is this. You can't go into business without strategies, right? So there are things that we call anti-strategies. And this is what not to do. So here's some of the mistakes that these are the 3 biggest mistakes that people tend to do. And this is the reason why I'm 99% of everyone else is stuck. Number one biggest mistake is the more is more trap. Posting every day on every platform, trying every new trend, saying yes to every opportunity. This dilutes the message, man. One thing I did learn when it comes to email marketing and everything, create one product, and that one product, give it the ultimate value, and then get it out to your people, all right? So that post, create one super post, give it some value, and get it out to your folks. All right. Number 2, the comparison game. Quit constantly looking over here at your homeboy or your homegirl stuff and trying to compare what they're doing to what you're doing. Y'all might not be in the same space. So just think about that, man. Your brand should, be a reflection of your unique perspective. Nobody can be who you is. You are you. So nobody's who you are. So quit trying to have everybody doing what you do, or quit trying to do what everybody else is doing. It doesn't work that way. All right. And then number 3, the overnight expectations. If you are starting a business and you think that you're going to be successful overnight, here's why people do that. First of all, if you think that, you just sadly mistaken. But here's why people do that. They see artists in the music industry come out and just like they keep calling them overnight success. When in reality, these people been grinding for 8 to 10 years. In business, you probably won't make a profit. If you, like, for me, I started a gourmet popcorn business. I probably won't see a profit for 3 years. But what I'm doing is getting prepared. All right. I'm truly getting prepared to take that next step of scalability. That's with that business. This business right here, man, I'm trying to get y'all prepared for y'all to understand exactly what's going on. Now, how about this? How about I give you a 90-day brand transformation plan? We're going to run through this and so we can get you out of here. I know it's late. You got to get to work. Listening to me, download it, subscribe, follow. But here's a 90-day plan, and we want to get to you this, on this particular day. All right. So days 1 through 30 is the foundation phase. All right. Define your one problem focus, choose your primary platform, develop your branded worldview, and create your first 10 pieces of teaching first content. That's days 1 through 30. Days 31 through 36 is a consistency phase. All right. Establish your content rhythm. Start engaging authentically with your audience. Redefine your message based on what resonates with your audience. All right. And begin building genuine relationships. Day 61 through 90 is the amplification phase. And this is you start strategically collaborating with others in your space. Launch your signature content series. Implement systems for relationship nurturing. Measure and optimize based on meaningful metrics. And so what does that mean? It's like your engagement quality, your relationship depth, just not your follower count. All right. And then also you want to make sure that you have the mindset shift that changes everything. This is the most important thing. This is what I understood. Building the top 1% personal brand isn't about becoming famous. It's about becoming useful in a specific group of people. You understand what I'm saying? Whether you make this shift from seeking attention to providing value, everything changes. You stop worrying about the vanity metrics and start focusing on the impact metrics. Vanity versus impact. You stop trying to please everyone and start serving your ideal audience. So now, before we wrap this up, I want to leave you with 3 actionable steps you can take right now and implement. All right. So action step number 1, write down your one problem focus using the formula I shared earlier. Don't overthink this now. Don't overthink anything. All right. Just make sure it aligns with what you're going to do later. All right. Action step number 2, audit your current online presence. What messages are you authentically sending? Does it align with your one problem focus? And then step number 3, plan your next 5 pieces of content using the teacher first mentality. Plain and simple. Now, if by any chance, and I know you did, so we're not even going to go there. If you found today's episode of any value, I'd love to connect with you a little bit further. Now, first, make sure you follow us at I am Anthony Porter on IG, along with at the Solopreneur Chronicles PC on IG. All right. This is where we share some daily insights, behind the scenes content about building an authentic influence. Now, here's something even better. I've created a free community called the Legacy Builders Network. All right. I'm going to drop a link down below or drop a link in the comments, and you can join. We will be uploading content every single day. I just started it. And inside of this community, it's free. Inside this free community, there is going to be a lot of trainings, all right, a lot of good posts, but it's a network for solopreneurs looking to go from an inconsistent 5-figure income to a 6 to 7 figure lifestyle of their choosing. So we'll give you access to that. We inside this community, we also going to have some tools, some deliverables, everything that you're going to need to be successful in your business ventures in today's society. Now, remember, building a personal brand stands out more, but it's not about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about the most useful voice for the right people. Remember that. You don't need a massive audience. You just need massive impact. And then you need the right audience who's going to trust you. All right. Remember to start with one problem and focus on it. Implement the 5 pillars we discussed, and then start working on your 90-day plan. And this is how you build an excellent personal brand. Now, I studied this a little deeper because I was watching an episode of Dan Cole, and he was talking about this, and it inspired me to do my version of building the ultimate personal brand. This information is very valuable, but it's only valuable if you implement it. Okay? So implement this and everything should be well. All right. So now I want to do this. Thank you for tuning in with us today. All right. It's been a pleasure. Again, if you find this episode helpful, share it with somebody, download it, follow us, leave us a review, and I'm going to see y'all in the next episode. So until the next time, man, just keep building, keep serving, all right, and keep making a detrimental impact with your personal brand. Man, it's Tony over here at Solopreneur Chronicles Podcast. We out of here. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to the Solopreneurs Chronicles podcast. I hope today's episode gave you the insights and inspiration you need to take the next step in your business journey. If you enjoyed the show, do me a favor, subscribe, leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and share this episode with a fellow solopreneur. Your feedback means the world to me and helps us reach more people just like you. Let's thank our producers of the show, Sincere and Charlie Straughter, Rhea Cash and Theory Porter. So don't forget, for more tips, tools, and resources, subscribe to the show. So just keep building, keep growing, and I'll see you next time.